Good morning. It is 9:22. Sean, it has been a messy start this morning. Thanks for coming in, by the way.
Yeah, sure. No
We've
problem.
a lot of track. We've had heavy bursts of snow to sleet and graupel to some places getting freezing rain.
Yeah, it's been truly a mixed bag here, and it's been evolving as the mornings progressed.
Sure.
And some of the heaviest snowfall rates we've had all morning. Happening right now. So let's give you some different vantage points as we're now at 9:22. So this is I-70 in Newcastle in Henry County. And for those of you that have had more of the graupel and more of the freezing rain, you're probably looking at this and saying, what the heck? We've had some heavy bursts develop here within the last half hour. That was expected. We knew there was going to be zones where the snow rates would get to the ½ inch to near 1 inch an hour. And that's what we're seeing moving right along and just east of I-65. You see that darker shading there, and that's heading down toward the southeastern part of the state. So if you're watching us in Greensburg, Rushville, Brookville, this burst is heading your direction. You can see too, we kind of used I-65 as the transition zone, the mixing bowl of, is it going to be snow? Is it going to be a little more sleet or freezing rain? And that's held out so far as well. We're going to dive in with radar, show you temperatures first and foremost too. And it's not necessarily what's going on at the surface, more so about 5,000 feet above. There's been a warm nose, enough to melt some of the flakes, and we get the freezing rain situation. Where that warm nose has made it just to about I-65. But more northeast, you see those dark shades, that is heavy stuff. Those are silver dollar flakes that you see there that move through Tipton County and Hamilton, Madison counties, and what's blasted through the north side of Indy, east side of Indy, and that's what you were seeing the result of with that NDOT camera there along I-70. Now that heavier snow is hitting Morristown, near New Powell, those bright shades toward Carthage, move through Knightstown. Quick moving, by the way. I'm telling you, this thing's going to be done. The heavy stuff's going to be done here by 10:30. This is moving very, very quickly. But we were showing you there along I-70 and now through 52 there across Shelby County. Here's another camera we've got. This is I-74, showing you some big flakes. 74 is going to get hit by this as it moves toward the east and southeast. Looks like our camera's frozen up here, but bottom line, we still got a little bit to go in terms of snowfall. And I want to talk a little bit about the precipitation types, and then Matt's going to take you through the rest of the day, how this is going to evolve. I mentioned that warm nose, so this dashed line, that's the freezing line. Okay, in some situations from top to bottom, we're above freezing and that's rain. In the situation like today, basically southwestern metro toward western Indiana, it's cold, it's snowflakes, and then it hits that warm nose, and then when it gets toward the ground, it freezes on contact, and that's freezing rain. So it's freezing on, the sidewalks or the roadways. We haven't had a whole lot of sleet. We've had what we call graupel, which is like Dippin' Dots. And then where you're seeing that snowburst from top to bottom, it's below freezing. So we've had a little bit of everything here this morning. Most importantly though, Matt, we've had enough instability, which sounds weird, but enough instability just above the ground to create these heavy snowbursts. And it would not surprise us if we get some reports of thunder before this thing completely gets out of the state.
Yeah, you could easily create that. Now, that burst of snow that Sean was talking about is moving south, so I've been working on some of these cameras and to kind of track where that heaviest burst is. Now, along I-70, close to Indianapolis, it is wrapping up, but the far eastern side of the state, look at Wayne County this morning, US 27, also Chester Boulevard there, I-70. Look how heavily the snow is still coming down, and this burst is headed south into Shelbyville. Here's showing you there, US 52, into Rushville, into Connorsville, Brookville Lake, and we'll continue to head south towards Greensburg and Columbus. Bartholomew County heads up. You've got some of the heavier snow headed your way. But I wanted to show you Richmond because this is the interstate. You've got still some kind of tire tracks out there, but outside the tire tracks, there's a lot of snow. Get off the interstate though. This is what it looks like for a lot of the entrance and exit ramps across central Indiana, generally north and east and kind of southeast of the city. And then more county roads, rural roads, and side streets are snow covered this morning. We've got easily another 1 to 2 inches have already fallen there in parts of Wayne County. I was checking with some family out there. They've already got about 1.5 inches, and the snow is still coming down this morning. So heads up, very slick out there across central Indiana. So slick that they have now shut down I-65 in the northbound direction at the Lebanon Street exit, State Road 39. So we're in Boone County. This is a live look. I know the feed's going to be coming in and out, but they've got the fire truck trying to block. They've got multiple crews out. You can see all these different cars scattered around. It has gotten super slick. Areas generally west and along I-65 have been getting that icy mixture. So not only are you getting some snow, but you're getting more of this snow pellet slash sleet slash graupel, which is kind of like Dippin' Dots, and sometimes just pure ice. It is super slick west of Indianapolis, including even the Lebanon area. So please give yourself extra time. If you're on 65, you're shut down. Traffic is now backing up all the way to Traders Point. This is another way to look at where the snow is coming down the heaviest and where we're getting more of kind of a sleety mixture. This is our visibility. We normally use it for fog. We're using it for snow right now. Where visibilities are dropping below 3 miles is where we have the heaviest snow this morning. It's kind of like diving. You get a 10, you got a perfect score. We're still kind of finding Seymour, but that's going to be changing. We're down to 1. It's pretty bad. 1 mile visibility with the snow in Richmond, Greensburg, Shelbyville, Greenfield, Newcastle, Anderson, and Marion. So the heaviest snow is in eastern Indiana. You get closer to Indianapolis and you see that number go up. We're getting this mix of some snow and also some of the sleet and freezing rain. When you switch over that, it doesn't actually block your visibility as much. And speaking of that, if we're able to, at any time you guys want, go ahead and pull up the feed coming in from Scotty and Anna. They have been on US 31. They've been heading south. I know they've been coming into the Carmel area. They were trying to head to Keystone. It looks like once you get into the Carmel area that there are still just slick spots, but maybe not as much of the heavy packed snow on the road because we have switched over to some of that sleety mixture, which doesn't quite accumulate in the same way, but still a lot of slick spots out there this morning. They're on the north side. We're having them come back to the station as it's gotten really slick up to the north. So they're cruising along this morning. Thank you, Scott and Anna, for all the shots that you've brought us. Now let's go ahead and switch over to the road sensor map. We're getting a lot of crashes around I-465, and this is just the interstate. There are plenty of slide-offs on different county roads, U.S. highways, things like that. City streets, we've had some crashes too. But I do want to bring your attention to I-65 North remains closed there at State Road 39, Lebanon Street on the west side of Lebanon. So going northbound, you can't cross that right now. You'd have to go into Lebanon there at the first exit, come into town, and then pop out by the Leap District. The map also has different colors for you. The blue colors show you we're getting kind of this mixture of some snow and sleet, but this dark blue color shows you places where we're getting that burst of snow and it is covering the roads. We saw it covering the roads in Newcastle. We saw it covering the roads there around Rushville and Richmond and Mount Comfort. And as the heaviest bands of snow push south, that's coming into Shelbyville and Rushville, headed to Greensburg next. Around Indianapolis, it gets a little bit deceiving. Looks like we've got snow patches. But a lot of this is some of the sleet that is mixed in. You go farther to the south and west, we switch over to more ice. We have seen freezing rain for places like Morgan, Hendricks, Monroe, Brown, Spencer, Owen County, and they're right around Putnam County as well, where there's a sheet of ice that has been developing. The other problem we've had are the temperatures. They're down to some mid-20s. When you have mid-20s in freezing rain, it is able to very easily develop on these roadways. So very slick as you go out towards the south and west. We'll keep an eye on that for the morning. Took all the colors off. I just want to show you the traffic itself. We've got a crash on I-465 in the eastbound direction as soon as you pass I-69. I-69 southbound through Fishers has been very slick. We've had multiple crashes all morning long, although the precipitation is slowly wrapping up around Fishers. You see all the traffic that's backing up around Lebanon all the way to Whitestown. Northbound lane is now closed. And then I-65 south coming into the city also has some slowdowns. And then all the blue icons show you different crashes. You got an update, Sean?
Well, an NDOT1. I don't know if you can punch up your NDOT1.
I may be able to in a second.
65 at Keystone, we've got a situation.
You said NDOT1?
Yeah, NDOT1. There you go.
Okay.
That's popped up there.
So you're looking along 65 going northbound.
Yeah, 65 north. There's an incident. We had several incidents kind of around Marion County along the loop. But yeah, that's 65 there at Keystone. That's just one that we're dealing with.
Looks like super slow traffic there. You can even see off to the side, Sean. You can even see some of the cars that are off to the side. There's one car right there on the right-hand side that's kind of slid off. But it's just going to be slow. And then if you look closely down on the left-hand side of your screen, it looks like we got a fire truck and a couple other emergency vehicles. So it has gotten super slick. Sometimes it's a mix of the snow and sometimes it's a mix of some of the ice that has been falling. So road conditions have deteriorated. Please give yourself extra time as you're headed out the door. What I'm going to show you next is the timeline of what the rest of the day looks like, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. We're going to have, Sean, you said their noon is at 11 today?
11 o'clock.
Olympics. Okay.
With Rob Ellis.
Rob Ellis is going to have an update for you at 11 o'clock. That is our noon newscast for today. Olympics are kind of changing the schedule just a little bit, so don't be surprised if things get a little wonky. But I just want to let you know, by the time Rob is on at 11, most of this is out of here. There could be a few leftover flurries, but I think we get a break through the lunch hour. It's not until about 3, 4 o'clock when another wave of snow showers will move in, not nearly as heavy as they have been. But what will happen is later this afternoon and evening, as the front comes on through, northwest winds will pick up, clouds will lower a little bit more, and we'll be throwing out some on and off snow showers and flurries. And there could still be slick spots from those, especially if you get into a little band that's a touch heavier. So watch out for that later this afternoon and evening. Here's a look at Future Track 13. This is 10 o'clock. We still have the mix of snow, and it gets really heavy for our southeastern counties. We're looking around Decatur County, Rush, even a little bit into Fayette, Franklin counties. A little bit more of an icy mix farther to the south, and we've had that icy mix, including here in Indianapolis, and areas to the west and to the south. That'll continue, but by about 10, 11 o'clock, a lot of this is getting out of here. So by noon, it's pretty much fully into Kentucky and Ohio. You get a break for a second. This is 3 o'clock. More snow showers are developing, and as northwest winds go over Lake Michigan, they'll get enhanced a little bit, and we'll get some scattered snow showers throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening. And honestly, there may be a few flurries lingering overnight and into tomorrow morning. Then I think we're done for a few days, and we'll start to try to warm up next week at least a little bit. This evening is a big night across central Indiana. It's our high school girls basketball sectional semifinals. So a lot of student athletes and parents will be traveling across the state, and there will probably be some improvement as temperatures do warm to the 30s later today, but just still be watching out for slick spots, especially as more flurries come in on and off through the afternoon and evening. But it will be chilly. Technically, you'll be at 30-something degrees. It'll feel like the 20s with that wind chill. So good luck to all the athletes, and make sure you just give yourself a little extra time as you're traveling to all these gyms across the state. So snow and ice wrapping up gradually this morning. A couple another rounds of just flurries this afternoon and evening. A couple of flurries left over Saturday. The whole weekend looks super cold. Look at that 12. It's going to be cold tomorrow morning. Wind chills colder than that, maybe near 0 or colder. We'll have to see how cold they get, but it will be very cold waking up Saturday morning. Sunday still cold, and we'll try to break up the clouds, get a little bit of sun next week. Will we hit 50? We'll see. I think some of us maybe to the south of Indy have a chance, but for now we're going to call for some 40s at times next week. There may be another front before Valentine's Day coming in to knock us down a little bit. We're still working on that forecast. It's a little bit of ways from now, to be honest. John, Rob, and I have been all focused on the snow for this morning, so please give yourself extra time. We'll have more updates throughout the day today. Remember, 11 o'clock, Rob Ellis has you covered there for our noon newscast, but at 11. Sean, thank you for coming in too this morning, and make sure you give yourself extra time heading out the door. As always, make sure you keep it here, keep it local. We'll keep you advised.